Hello, continuing on with our read of Alice Bailey's Esoteric Psychology, Volume 1. Reading along on the publisher's website, or if you are in the book, we're on page 111 or so. Let's get our screen set up. Alright, I hope that you're doing well, and thanks for watching. So we have question 4. Of what value is it to know about the 7 rays? We're continuing on here, page 111, if you're following along in the book. Here we're talking about how we should consider the teacher that is bringing on the message, the spiritual message, the metaphysical message, or any message. I like to take this and break it down from the context of the very esoteric, the very obscure, hard to grasp or relate, and make it very simple. It's our basic nature of how we can understand the world, understand ourselves, and that's why a lot of times people don't connect with the material because they think that it's so spacey, so dreamy, like they had in the last section, talking about the days of a mystical and dreamy consciousness are rapidly passing away. This is the time to ground in the truth of the soul, the fact that there is a spiritual side to existence, and that spiritual side is just the higher evolved conscious state. So again, that's what we discussed kind of last time, and here we're going to learn about our teachers and where we're getting our messages and how we interpret those in a very concrete way. Grounded, practical. That was the last lesson. The aspirant must be practical above all else, right? So continuing on. Secondly, let not your mind be occupied with idle speculations as to the identity of the teacher. And this is a lot of times when someone's learning something like from this book where the Tibetan is the channel, or rather Alice Bailey is the channel for the Tibetan, who is this higher spiritual guru, as many people call it, that's imparting these ancient teachings, this wisdom. So, and right now with toxic spirituality, we have people, they aggrandize these gurus or these people that are imparting the wisdom because they make them a celebrity of sorts. This isn't about, it's not about that. So this is teaching us a different frame of how to even understand the message that you're getting. It's really about discernment of the message in a very deep way, and I think that's why the Tibetans spend so much time at different sections of this book emphasizing that, because people have gotten really caught up in the glamour, just like 3D reality, the glamour of situations, the prestige, the clout, the recognition, the fame, the material manifestations. But what I like here is that they say that, you know, in the last section it says that those things will come, but it's like those things are going to come, but that can't be your focus as to why you're doing a thing, or else it'll be very much apparent as well. And as we move to a more evolved state of consciousness, the veil is lifting, right? The veil is lifting, and so is the quickening happening too, where the quickening between cause and effect, where people are going to see the direct results of their thoughts and their actions, to a point where it's almost like those who have the skill in telepathy of reading a person's energies, which is the first step towards reading a person's mind, and how before we had these words and these languages to communicate on a very way that's been completely convoluted, right? We can manipulate our speech and convey a message and communicate words that don't actually match our thoughts, our feelings, and our beliefs. But those who are in tune or attuned spiritually to the higher mind, because that's what soul is, spirit, then you can read what's not being said verbally in a way that you can actually distinguish a message that's, not being said. As the veil is lifting, it's more of that same idea, this quickening between our ability to actually grasp truth regardless of appearances, regardless of the glamour, regardless of what a person is, claiming to be. We're seeing the aura manifest in their actions and their surroundings and their physical appearance. It's more and more coming to surface where the veil is being lifted, and also likewise the quickening is happening in terms of they can't hide behind these false glamours anymore, this false speech, these false narratives. There's a whole plethora of things all across the internet where someone can just pull up, evidence that shows a person's thought process is contrary to what they're preaching. It's like these political campaigns right now are insane, but they're just going back with sound bites of something a person said. I have a whole nother doctrine that I believe on that. It's like Emerson said, he would gladly change what he feels today, tomorrow, if it's more true. If he learns something that's more true tomorrow, then he will say that and stand by that. And I believe that too. If I might have said some stupid things in the past, felt very differently than I do today, but what I'm saying today is going to match what I feel today. You can dig up a soundbite from 2004 where I'm saying something different, but that doesn't we'll probably be like, yeah, and but it's funny how on a political sphere we're like, see, the whatever. Anyways, the point of this is that I think that's what people are talking about when they're talking about the lifting the veil or consciousness changing in that way. So something to look out for. And I guess I started that story to say that for me, that's an exciting thing, because when you're in that place of being able to read people's energy and read people's minds, and they're not aware that they're speaking two languages, right? People don't know how they're already bilingual in that way, where they're speaking and actually doing that simultaneously. They don't know that you're listening and interpreting and hearing both languages that they're speaking. And so it's very challenging to have conversations with people who aren't straightforward, who aren't direct in that way. But this is creating that evolution, because that's what it is. It's consciousness evolution. It's pushing it forward to where they have to be, where a person has to be seen in their heart of hearts, or how they truly believe. Words are no longer masks that we can wear. Neither are all of these physical things that we collect and surround ourselves with. There's a lot going on as above, so below, that's going to make us more so have to pick a side, because that's what we're here for, to pick a side and to stand behind that which we have chosen. Certainly, like I just said with Emerson, you can change your mind, but you can't play both sides. You can't throw the rock and hide your hand. We're going to see who threw the rock, and then they're going to experience the consequences of having thrown that rock a lot quicker than in the past, where we were in a different state of consciousness, where we weren't ready to see that those who we, tout as very special or very privileged or very esteemed could actually be deceptive, could actually be speaking in two tongues, speaking from a practiced manner of being deceitful. And so that's where I said it's exciting in terms of, if you're actually speaking what you feel, then there's not really that same fear of having your mind read, I guess you could say, in those circumstances. And you're also going to see, other people who are in that same vein, like enjoying this time as well. And then others are going to be completely miserable because they're like, damn it, how do you keep figuring me out? Like, because it's all written all over your face, right? It's the veil lifting, quote unquote. How about we read? Did you come here to read today? All right. Right here. Secondly, let not your mind be occupied with idle speculations as to the identity of the teacher. What matters it who he is? What does it matter who the vessel is, the messenger is? Can you prove his identity in one way or another? And of what value is it to accept the statements of any fellow student who may claim to be informed on the matter, be he who he may? Again, taking this out, zoomed out level from this is talking about like spiritual teachers, gurus, whatever, but if it's like same thing about our newscasters, like you don't know who the person is. A lot of times the figurehead is an actor. They're reading from a script. They're playing a part. They answer to another person who's got their own interests. So it's not about the identity of a person and who someone else might claims to be informed on certain matters. You cannot prove him right or wrong, and therefore it remains a waste of time, which could well be given to more fruitful service. And what that fruitful service is, aka what we should be focusing on, is a closer study of the life essentials and to meditation. Again, this is meditation on, thinking on, spending a considerable amount of time contemplating a thing, whether that be your ultimate existence in the highest, all things, or if it's just on goodness, contemplating, meditating on truth, meditating on why do you keep getting caught throwing a rock and hiding your hand, meditating on that and be like, well, why do I keep throwing rocks? What is it in me that is provoked by X kind of person or X situation? Meditating on who you want to be, what you want to do, meditating on how you behaved yesterday versus how you behave today, what you want to do tomorrow. It's a meditation is a contemplation that takes place in a very steady, focused manner. It doesn't have to be, again, the very spiritual thing that we talk about. I mean, the very mainstream thing that we talk about, sitting quiet and in the posture. Although that discipline is important, it's a muscle that's built of focus on a certain thing, and we're focusing on the life essentials. That's what we should study rather than the messenger. What is taught should matter. Now let me see if this is recording. What is taught should matter. The aspects of truth which I present to your consideration should count. The measure of help which I can give and the spiritual and mental stimulation which I may impart are of moment to you. What are the fruits? What am I teaching? What are you learning from whoever you're giving your respect, your time, attention to, your belief? What aspects of truth are they presenting to your consideration? That's what should count. Are you spiritually and mentally stimulated? That's what is of moment. The training of the intuition to recognize spiritual truth should be the subject of your effort. Every time you listen to a teacher and enact the teachings, the intuition is to recognize the level of spiritual, meaning mental, soul, higher mind. Sorry, got tongue-tied. That's the subject of the effort. Distinguishing or learning discernment. The sole authority is the teaching and not the teacher. Upon the rock of authority, many schools have foundered. This is collapsed or fell. There is but one authority, each man's own immortal soul, and that is the only authority which should be recognized. I think for this one, I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet, leave it there, and come back with another one. Try to do some of these in a shorter, more compact way and see how that goes. Thank you so much again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.